Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie reaction. Today, we're going to be looking at a film that I haven't seen ever since. I don't even know when this damn thing came out, but we're looking into Seven. Now, this is something that ever since I started this channel, you guys have been requesting this, and I answered back many of times saying, hey, I've watched this before, I've watched this before, I watched this before, I watched this before. But you guys still kind of want to hear my commentary over it, and I'm definitely flattered about that. But I also just want to say that's cool. I mean, hopefully I'm able to kind of present something new to the table that you guys haven't seen during your run through of the movie in terms of like filmmaking or maybe something else of that matter. And I know some of you guys just like seeing my reactions just in general. So whatever makes your day a little bit brighter, I'm more than happy to kind of like suffice and help out wherever I can. So I'm really happy to kind of jump into this film because yes, I haven't seen this film. Man, I don't even know when it came out, but I know it's been about maybe 5 years. It's been a long time. All I know is that what's in the box. I can remember that. I can remember the what's in the box. I know it was a really good performance by a guy that we shall not name. No, but yeah, I do know that Kevin Spacey is, he does a fantastic performance. But yeah, I mean, there's those things that I do remember. So it's gonna be really interesting, kind of seeing it from a filmmaking perspective because I have not seen the movie ever since. I mean, like I said prior to this, I graduated from Temple University in Film and Media Arts, 2019. So recently graduated. However, I was always doing, I was always into art, and that's kind of like my introduction into filmmaking. And then obviously now that I actually have a degree in filmmaking as well, that kind of like adds more to the plate of me kind of like, looking at it from a perspective of a filmmaker. So again, guys, this is going to be really cool to look at, not only for you guys, but for me as well too, to see, okay, how do I look at these type of films prior to me not knowing filmmaking or what goes on behind the scenes of filmmaking. So like always, guys, I just want to say thank you so much for the support. I mean, hey, I've been battling with YouTube for quite some time, but I mean, it's good. I mean, we're still making things happen. And like always, guys, if this were to, get copyright claimed or anything like that, definitely stay tuned, be in the community tabs, because that's usually where I'm able to kind of update you guys on, like, posting it onto the Patreon or Vimeo, all that good stuff. But we're gonna keep things moving because we can't stress over that. It's out of our hands. Let's keep things moving, you know what I'm saying? So again, I just want to say thank you all for the support. Stay tuned to the community, and if you want to join the Patreon and vote on the movies that basically you guys suggest towards me, definitely check that out. That's where the full links are, the early access. You guys already know the deal. Definitely check that out, and also if you want to support me a little bit more, it goes a long way. So without further ado, guys, let's hop right into Seven.
Crime of passion.
Yeah. Just look at all the passion on that wall.
Yeah, well, this is a done deal. All with the people.
Again, just kind of like from what on this channel we've seen with David Fincher and how he narrates the camera movement, especially in crime thrillers or crime drama.
We are all
It's just
real glad
incredibly done, skillfully done, in a way where I think the viewer is able to follow it, but obviously, like I said previously, you don't feel as though your hand's being held throughout the movie. It really does reward those who are able to pick up the clues by themselves, like a true investigator, and I think that's a really cool feature David Fincher gives us.
Why here?
I don't follow.
Well, all this effort to get transferred.
Again, I love,
Question that popped into my...
another thing, with filmmaking that you can kind of remember is making your environment become alive. A lot of the times, we get caught up with sets and trying to just work within whatever area that we have, and it becomes stagnant. It doesn't become lifeful, Filmmaking is about creating that environment so the viewer, can really dive in and ingest your world, digest the world that you presented them in. And as you can kind of see as the camera was following them, you have people walking by and, rain, the sound, you're just getting blasted with everyone around them. Like, you can hear the dialogue, but you can also hear the sirens. You can hear the people walking by, the rain pitter-pattering on the sidewalk, people just colliding with one another. It's hectic. It's alive. It's real. That adds a lot to filmmaking. It also adds a lot to the storytelling.
Hello? Yep. Okay. Say it again?
Lovely character traits. I mentioned this in the Song of the Dead, how in you know, couple of seconds within the film, it can really showcase a character and what they're about, what their motivations are. And you already saw just like kind of like within the first minute of Brad Pitt's character getting ready, you kind of get a sense of who his character is, especially how seriously he takes his job. And all that plays a factor in the storytelling. But those are things that you can showcase rather than telling. It's always good to show rather than tell. Let the showing do the telling. Haunting. Absolutely haunting. The sound design, the music, kind of just lingering in the background, how tight some of these shots are. It's very claustrophobic in this scene right here. I think they really do a great job with that, with the lighting or the lack thereof. The really rustic hue of the color. The lighting gives off a very yellow tint. It's very staining. Almost as if like you can't rub it off.
What? What? Whoa.
What the hell are you talking about?
This can't be my... It's just gonna go on and on and on.
You're retiring.
I love Morgan Freeman and just how he's able to really treat this character with the sense of wisdom.
And if I may speak freely,
And obviously, you know, it's his voice,
not be his first
but
assignment.
like just the way he's able to advocate his character in the scene, you can just see and feel the experience that carries with him.
If we could just talk in private. Obviously, this isn't working. It's a personal thing. Maybe it'd be
Shut
better.
up, Mills. Look, I don't have anyone else.
You know, a very stark contrast to his partner here, who was, you know, kind of still fresh and ready to go.
All right, here we go. Quiet down. All right, calm down. Calm down.
David Fincher and all the films that I've seen of his, you know, now looking back on it, you know, to this one, it's really interesting how he is, again, able to use the media not only in a realistic sense, but almost morph it into its own character. And in an existential sense, we're almost the media itself, but kind of like, you know, if you were able to relate it to Gone Girl, how the media would just metamorphosize into something, you know, hideous. Something in its own form. I love how with David Fincher, it's not just the story of the detectives and, you know, the killer. It's the detective are in this world with the killer. The world is still spinning. It still has its, you know, other parts that play along with the story. Now, it might not be big, but they still do remain a factor in the storytelling. A lot of people don't choose to juggle that because, you know, it's a lot to juggle.
This happened just last night, about 4 blocks from here.
Yeah, I read about it.
I don't understand this place any longer.
That's very, yeah. That's, man. You know, this really could be in a setting of like Gotham almost, you know? This could really be in a setting of Gotham, where the city is almost metamorphosizing to the point where it's almost becoming unknown to the people who chose to protect it. Again, setting plays such an incredible role in this story. Obviously, the color grading, the lighting, I think it complements the setting because I think the setting is much more important, you know, especially with this story. You know, his inner conflict about the city itself. I think from what we saw already, we saw that the city itself almost was kind of parallel to the city just, you know, in Joker. You know, if you guys have seen that film, how compact, how crime is just rampant, how demonic and twisted it feels. It's almost as if anything good that tries to escape gets suffocated by the smog and by the evil that lurks within the city.
Where are you headed?
Far away from here.
Almost kind of like relate that metaphor I just talked about how Good tries to escape but gets choked out, to Morgan Freeman's character as he tries to escape.
I was close once. Just didn't happen.
It surprises me. It really does.
It's so lovely seeing so much care brought into the dialogue. You can just tell that they just had a blast writing this. Like, because even the scenes like this, where a lot of people, I would feel as though they would say, oh man, it's probably a mundane scene. I really cherish these scenes. You know, they show a lot of character because it really puts these people in a very vulnerable position.
Away in a minute.
It's not.
See? See?
Real estate guy.
Literally, the actual place comes alive throughout this movie. The setting is just always there. It's never distant from the story. It's always there, constantly reminding you that even during your most vulnerable state, it's there, lingering.
He's preaching.
I don't know why. I really love that shot in particular. Really love that shot, showing the reflection of the gruesome killings in his glasses.
Ever seen anything like this?
I can tell you guys, just for
Whew. That is crazy. Another curveball at you. Again, like I adore this film's way of balancing what you currently know and what the film knows itself, and then just kind of like teasing you here and there.
So many freaks out there doing their little evil deeds they don't want to do.
Keeping about like 2 steps ahead of you. Man, these sequences are so gorgeously shot, so wonderfully shot. I would love to see David Fincher do something with like Batman, you know, like even if it's following like Gordon, you know. I think it would be really cool to see that, because I think he would be incredible in transforming Gotham and really bringing out Gotham and what it truly is, like really testing the environment, which I think he does a fantastic job at. And again, throughout this whole time, we do not get, you know, any glimpses of our killer. Not at all. It's just kind of following all the things what he's done, right? Because rather, you know, the idea, the how he or she has done this, rather than the, you know, what that person looks like. You know, leaving it up to the imagination, wondering what they look like.
You got what you deserved.
Wow.
He's alive! He's alive! Cocksucker's alive!
Yo, that is so haunting. So haunting. Oh my goodness. Sheesh. That gives shivers to anyone, man.
Can be a hard place.
I don't know.
This shot here, again, it feels so claustrophobic. You know, that scene where it's showcased like the diner, everything just feels so squished, so like compact. You know, and I wonder if it's because they're using a lens that, you know, compacts the frame, you know, kind of smushes in a lot of it and feels claustrophobic.
I hate this city.
I had a relationship once.
See? The city just eats people alive. I think David Fincher is doing a fantastic job showcasing that, not just by the brutality of the murders, but just how it's affecting everyone. Everyone. And in a filmmaking sense, you can see it with the color grading and how gritty certain areas are, and like I said previously, the settings.
I remember thinking, how can I bring a child into a world like this? How can a person grow up with all this around them? I told her I didn't want to have it.
You guys let me know. I know I feel like the similarities between Morgan Freeman's character kind of reminds me of the sheriff from No Country for Old Men. I feel like, you know, in that movie, he also felt that things were changing at such a degree that it was just,
I know.
it was outrunning his age. You know, he was just not used to it. The environment that he wanted to protect kind of just outgrew him in the worst way possible. And I think that's kind of what Morgan Freeman's character here is sort of feeling as well, too. Especially when you're just old and you kind of want to escape, but you also feel this attachment to the city. You feel this need to help and protect it. But it's like an inevitable battle, you know?
Mills.
Woo! Oh man, I forgot that happens. That was a wake-up call. My goodness.
Lock your door.
Get out of the fucking hall, please!
I think it's also the first time where the editing is just so chaotic, you know, is dysfunctional, and I think it fits this moment because of just how, you know, how frantic he's moving, how disorienting it is. Awesome shot. Man, these shots are just so cool. This entire chase scene is just so well done. It's incredible. Like I said, using the environment to just like really have us navigate throughout this entire scene. It's incredible. And I just love how, like, as they're running, they're never usually in the foreground. They're always in the mid-ground, showcasing either the city in the foreground and the city in the background. Just having them zip through in the middle of it all.
No!
And I love how when he's seen, it's just so ominous. So ominous. Dark and gloomy. It's like a haze.
Express my admiration. Sorry I had to hurt one of you, but I didn't really have a choice, did I? You will accept my apology, won't you? I feel like saying...
Man, what a crazy phone call to get from there. Oh man. And then we have it, like our first ever voice from the guy. Well, technically, because he technically did reveal himself as the photographer.
You want me to agree with you, and you want me to say, yeah, you're right. It's all fucked up. It's a fucking mess. We should all go live in a fucking log cabin.
I'm telling you, that's like almost the same parallel between No Country for Old Men. You know, the sheriff there. Because he wants to believe people are good. You know, he really wants there to be good people out there. It's just so much bad. And sometimes it's hard to see that. So the only choice is to either run away. But like I said earlier, it's like a chokehold. Just barely keeping you alive. And you can see that within the frames here because they're so suffocatingly close. You know, they're so suffocatingly close.
Come on.
Cut off her nose.
Despite her face.
He did it very recently.
Man, these murders are crazy. Like just the sheer brutality of them.
I figure one
Insane.
of two things will happen. Either we'll get John Doe, or he'll finish
And
his
again,
series of
like
7 and
just showing and not telling because he's not showing us what's happening to these people. You know, he always shows us the aftermath, which I feel like, you know, really does play into what happens at the end greatly.
You're looking for me.
Hey! What's your fucking move? On the fucking door. Keep away from him!
What an intense chess piece move. Oh my goodness.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, there he says. It's not supposed to make any sense.
he's not finished.
Nah, he's just pissing in our faces. We're just taking it like
Love that he's in red too. You know, during this muted scene, this muted color, his color just dominates the room, even though, you know, he's not a big guy. But my goodness, just the mannerisms and obviously that red is just intense. It's almost as if he is the devil himself.
And then you'll notice you've got their strict attention.
But the question is, what makes you so special that people should listen?
I'm not special.
But see, that's the thing. Like, I wonder if, you know, his character, is he doing this for the attention? Or is he doing it because he's mentally, like,
I don't see anything special.
just a disfigurement of the city?
That's not true.
No, it is true.
I really do
The
wonder.
funny thing is, all this work.
Or is it like a combination for both?
Could the freak be any more vague? I mean, as far as master plans go, John.
I can't wait for you to see. I really can't. It's really going to be something.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is. And again, you know, I'm relating this back to that feeling of trying to almost escape the city. You know, it's the first time we see them outside of the city. And it's almost as if everything is going to be good, but then obviously you guys know what happens. Brings them right back in.
A disgusting man who could barely stand up. A man who, if you saw him on the street, you'd point him out to your friends so that they could join you in mocking him.
Yep.
A man who, if you saw him while you were eating, you wouldn't...
We're getting a glimpse of his actual character. The hatred he has for people in this city.
Only in a world this shitty could you even try to say these were innocent people and keep a straight face.
Wow. Wow.
But that's...
I'm telling you, I think this hits a lot harder now because I'm able to see the parallels of the environment and how it gave birth to people like this. It affects everyone. And some try to get out and some just get warped and disfigured mentally. It's all because of just that environment.
Face of yours for the rest of your life. Or should I say, for the rest of what life I've allowed you to have.
Sit back, you fucking freak! Shut your...
And right there, he knew he's won. Right there. It's just going to make that much... It's going to make whatever comes up next, and you guys know, that much more painful. My goodness, man. You could just tell the horror in his face. Again, not showing us. Oh, it's just such a gut punch.
The fuck you talking about?
Do you hear me, Detective? I'm trying to tell you how much I admire you. And your pretty wife.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's like a fucking knife to your throat.
So, I took a souvenir. Her pretty head.
Jesus. Oh my goodness, man. One of the greatest moments I've ever witnessed in filmmaking.
Become Wrath.
Tell me she's alright!
You murder a suspect, David.
No!
Just throw it all away, you know.
No!
Oh, God. Just heartbreaking, man. And Brad Pitt did a phenomenal job with this.
David.
Camera is just tight on his face. It's tight on his face. Damn. Damn. Oh, man. Oh. Doesn't even feel good after that, you know?
Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and worth fighting for." I agree with the second part.
Wow. And that is 7. My goodness. That was an awesome watch to kind of view again. Whew. My goodness, guys. All right, everybody, and that wraps up Seven. Oh man, this was it's so great coming back to films like these now that I have prior knowledge of not only filmmaking, but obviously I've aged, I've matured, I've gained some more knowledge and just storytelling as well. And man, I think yeah, the first time I watched this, I was definitely not mature enough to appreciate it as much. And you know, man, what a masterpiece this is. This is a masterpiece of a film. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone said this is like their top 5 film of all time, because it's really good. I think it's damn near perfect. It's really damn near perfect. I think just the pacing of it was scarily good. Scarily good. And it's weird because that whole act at the end when he hands himself in, you know, that felt like the longest because of just like it was weird. It's like it wasn't as fast paced as it was being held in the city. And I talked a lot about how the environment really impacts, you know, in this story, really impacts the characters, because, you know, these aren't just people who just popped out of nowhere. You know, I use examples like Taxi Driver, the Joker, I mean, No Country for Old Men. You know, these are people who don't just become, like, they don't just born this way. They become a byproduct of something, whether that's trauma or family, household, or in this case, the environment, you know. And this environment had an effect on everyone within the city. Even if, you know, the characters aren't even named, you can tell that it has these deep-rooted claws within these characters. And, you know, people who try to escape, they still fall victim towards it because of just how disturbingly attractive, you know, the magnet of, I guess you could say, this environment was in the city is. And it's just, it was done so in such a phenomenal way through the filmmaking, through the characters, the sound design, the setting, you know, the action as well too. The music, it just all related to this existential bigger issue, which was the city and the fight against evil, and how evil isn't just evil. Evil is, you know, it's deep rooted. And man, like that last scene was just incredible. So you guys, tell me what you guys thought about you know, this film the first time, you know, maybe your second viewing. What are some themes that you picked up? Do you agree with some of the themes that I kind of brought forth? You know, did you learn anything from this video? I'm happy to hear your thoughts on it as well too. And guys, definitely recommend the full-length commentary on this one. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check out the Patreon below. It helps me out, you know, more than you can ever know. So guys, thank you again for just supporting and showing so much love. Be healthy, stay hydrated, because we are just getting started.
Purple jacket, pocket full of weed, everything that I should ever need. Grab some matches cause they give them free, just like my time. Hair pulled back in the backseat.